But again, this so-called penalty on the rich, or that they might not enjoy that big a tax cut at all, it would still be substantial, we should point out, because they earn more. So any cut, even in smaller percentage terms, would be substantial. But it is what it is. Republican Congressman Doug Collins of Georgia. He's a Republican conference vice chair. Now, Congressman, always good to have you. Do you like the broad parameters you're hearing?
I think we do. I think what we're hearing so far, and I think it goes back to something we've talked about before. This president is engaged. This president is wanting to be a part. This is something that he's talked about a great deal. And I think the one thing that we're doing is this is his proposal. He's putting this forward. And combined with what's been going on in the House already and also in the Senate, bringing all of us together, what we're finding is we've got about 85% of the same, we're talking about the same things. And then we can begin the negotiations over the things where we may disagree. But at the bottom line, he understands completely that when we take a whole, complete sort of, as the words were said earlier, revolutionary look at our tax system, then we're going to see the economic growth come that we have been searching for so long right now. You know,
one of the things I always notice, Congressman, is that when when someone puts out a proposal, they put out their best proposal. And that even with tax cuts, whether you're talking about Bill Clinton or Ronald Reagan or even George Bush Jr., whatever they initially proposed is ratcheted up a little bit here. So is it safe to say, for example, the president's desire to lower the corporate tax to 15% is going up, that it will likely be, as I think that your House Ways and Means Chief Kevin Brady has intimated, closer to 20%?
Well, I think it's a starting point. This is the president has been through many deals. He understands negotiating that, and I think what we will see is a discussion. And I think you and I have talked about this before, right. And that is there has to be an understanding of the dynamic scoring as opposed to static scoring, in saying what will these tax reform policies actually mean to the economy. So I think we got to be able to build in that fact. So in some ways you don't look completely as it deficit neutral or not, but you've got to make sure that long term we have a financial situation in which we are controlling spending at the same time as we're reforming tax reform, which will allow us to see the generated growth in which we're coming. So I think this is a first step. I think there's been a lot of thought going into it, and sort of the pay for and not pay for situation will be something that will be really addressed over the coming weeks.
All right. It does seem to broadly mimic what some of your House colleagues have been putting together or working on behind the scenes. But again, with the exception of that lower corporate rate, I'm wondering, given the gap between that and even a lower top rate of 35%, can't you see the possibility of savvy rich guys finding a way to shift income? Since a lot of them, S-corps, real estate entities, hedge funds, all the like, will take advantage of that.
Well, I think that's always a possibility, and I think that's one of the reasons we need to do major reform. This shouldn't be just simply a one-targeted area of tax reform. We need to look at it from the corporate structure, the pass-through structure, down to the individual
that's something
structure.
That would stay in place. The way the Trump folks have envisioned it right now, sir, is that we have, if they are right, a 35% top rate and a 15% corporate rate. Right. You don't have to be a financial Einstein to say, all right, I'm going to find a way to pay that 15% rate, right?
Well, exactly. And I think the Treasury Secretary is aware of that. I think that was what you heard in some of those comments that you were just discussing. Right. I think what we're going to be doing is looking at that and making sure there's not. The thing about it is if we can simplify the tax code, instead of making it one of the most complex that's in the world, if we simplify the tax code, then we're taking away some of those possibilities to do these very things to avoid this structure and making sure that we have a system that works for everyone. That's the part that we're wanting to make sure of, is we're having a system that works for everyone in this country, that provides a pro-growth platform for our taxes, taking care of what we need to do as a country, while at the same time taking care of a business environment and an individual environment. One of the things I don't want to have happen here is that we simply talk about business. Businesses are important, they employ jobs, but I want to go to the person who goes to those jobs. When we're actually looking at corporate tax reform and individual tax reform, we're telling moms and dads and single folks and college students who are coming out into the job market, there are going to be jobs available for you, and that's what tax reform gives us, and that's what we're going to be focusing on.
All right, so real quickly, sir, then just to understand, is this, regardless of what's happening on the health care front, a rework on that, or is it just, all right, I will throw let's see which gets done first?
Well, I think what we can do is we're showing that many times people might not think that Congress can chew gum and walk at the same time. We are proving that we can. And what we're working on right now is continuing the discussion on health care. We not have a time frame. We're not going to get it done. We're going to get our work done on the budget first. We're going to get health care done and tie this in with tax reform. The American people elected a bold agenda in this president in November. They've kept their confidence in the Republicans in the House and Senate, and it's now our time to act upon it. This is not a time for us to push it. It's not a protest time. This is a time for governing, and that's what we're working on right now.
All right. Thank you very, very much. The conference vice chair, Congressman Doug Collins, beautiful state of Georgia. All right. Meanwhile.